Okay, good morning. Just kind of jump into it. I got a couple of aggravated assaults. The first one I'll cover was Sunday evening. I'll preface this by saying we really don't have a whole lot of information. We were getting some conflicting information as well. This happened in the 1200 block of North Prairie Avenue. Excuse me, the police were called just before 7 p.m. and there were, we think, around 4 people inside an apartment. Something happened, and that's part of what we're unclear about. But one person ended up pulling out a gun. He accidentally shot himself in the leg with it, and then he had told us that he had felt threatened, and so he shot another guy in the leg. The guy with the gun ended up leaving, ended up at the hospital, took himself there. At some point, the other person also ended up at, I think it was a different hospital. Both injuries were described as non-life threatening. No arrests at this point in time, no other injuries were reported, and like I said, we're a little unclear. We were able to talk to both of the people involved, and that's kind of where the difference in stories arises. So we're still investigating that, but a little unusual situation at this point in time since we don't have a whole lot of details. The one other aggravated assault, that was early this morning. That was just before 1 a.m. That was in the 300 block of North Fairfax Avenue. We had a 41-year-old woman that was inside a home, and somebody fired at that home. One of the bullets struck her in the arm. That injury was non-life threatening. We don't have a whole lot of details, or I think we had some reports of different vehicles that were in the area, but haven't been able to determine any suspects or why the shooting took place. So I guess with that one, if people had any information, had heard something or saw something, we'd like them to call police or Crime Stoppers. The other aggravated assaults are basically just reports and people that were threatened. One of them involves juveniles, but really no substantial injuries out of those others. Burglaries, pretty much all reports, houses, apartments, businesses, a bunch of garages that were entered, but nothing concentrated in any area. The disorderly conducts, a lot of those are just reports. Most of them are disorderly phone call reports. Nothing big from the family offenses. Frauds and larcenies are all reports. The indecent exposure, that was a guy that exposed himself to an employee inside a store. No arrests on that. We're still working to find out who he is. The man down, that was a report that was created in error, so I don't have any details for that. The robbery, the first one that was on Saturday on the log, that involves juveniles, so I'm not able to talk about that. The other one that was Monday evening, that one, no arrests have been made. This was at a motel in the 2900 block of South Carolina Avenue. A guy was inside a motel room with a woman he had just met. She tried to take a briefcase of his. He ended up getting that back. She pulled out a knife and swung it and ended up cutting him a couple of times. So she left after that. He was taken to the hospital for injuries, no arrests. We're still working to try to identify who she was, but the injuries were described as non-life threatening. The 3 sex offenses are all reports. Nothing suspicious with any of the unattended deaths. Vandalisms I didn't get to, didn't hear of anything concentrated in any area. And then the weapons violation, that was some gunshots that were heard near 15th and Waltz Avenue, but no reports of any injuries or damage. That's it, unless you have any questions.
Was the Fairfax shooting random?
I guess we don't know. So Fairfax shooting, yeah, I mean that's really what we know she was excuse me. We know she was inside the house at the time. We don't know why the shooting took place. We don't know if the house was a target or if she was a specific target. We just don't have enough information to say if it was random or if she was specifically targeted.
And should people be concerned about other people shooting at homes?
Yeah, I think that's probably always a concern. If people are shooting at other homes. I mean, one of our open homicides was a case where somebody fired into a home and struck a lady and killed her. So this is one of the types of situations that we really ask the public to help us out. A lot of the time people are up all kinds of hours, day or night. A lot of the time they're going to see something, and those pieces of information can be very valuable to the investigation. So we'd like people to call police or Crime Stoppers and share what they have. A lot of the time people may not have information what led up to a shooting, but when people hear gunshots, they look outside, they see things, and those pieces of information, what they see, if it's a car, license plates are great, but even a general description can help detectives. And so those types of things are what we're looking for. Anything else? Okay, thanks.